right, y'all. Y'all know it's Thursday, 6 o'clock. That means it's time for SWAC Smoke. Hey, C Wells in the house, DJ over there, man. We here. We gonna do what we do. So how you doing today, DJ?
Doing pretty good, man. Happy to be here.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, pretty interesting week as usual. Um, we probably got a little bit of this and a little bit of that to talk about. So, if you got anything you want to start us off with.
We can go and start off on the Southern baseball coach taking the job in Memphis. What you think about that?
Oh, Coach, that was the previous coach, Coach
He's
Jackson.
not the current coach.
No, but that's still a big move, man. Coach Carrick Jackson, he was at Southern. He left and took a position with the MLB, and now he's head coach at Memphis. That's a huge move, man. That guy, I thought if he stayed at Southern, he would have really turned that program into it's going in a good direction. But I think he might have took it a couple steps further. So to get a job like that, that's huge, man. I wish him the best. I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes on what they're doing.
You think y'all gonna be able to keep your current coach with the success?
Right now I think so, but I think if they continue to continue to win and get better week in and week out consistently, I think some people might come calling. Then I don't know if they're gonna be willing to break bread because I think that was part of the issue with Coach Jackson leaving. I don't think they really wanted to put up the kind of money that they might have needed. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Do you think it's a matter of want or a matter of don't have sometimes?
Um, I think sometimes it's a matter of want, because
Okay.
I think sometimes people prioritize, what can get that kind of money and what can't, So baseball is successful at Southern, but it's kind of his own little thing tucked away. So I don't know if the people who in charge of a lot of that stuff feel like is worthy of putting that into it. But I'm one of those people who feel like if we put the swag as a whole put money into baseball, we can really do some good things because there's some really good teams in this league. I don't know how if you was able to watch any of the baseball tournament or keep up with it, but they had some good baseball being played in that tournament this year.
I was able to catch some of it. I saw a little bit of it was Bama State and somebody. It was right before they end up playing Southern.
Oh, Bethune Cookman.
Yeah, that was that game. Yeah, I saw some of that. What up, Lowe's J?
What's happening, Lowe's J? What's going on?
But yeah, shout out to Los J Trophy Chasers. If y'all
Oh,
ain't checked them out, check them out.
for
If you
sure.
got an old lady, a friend girl, Father's Day coming up, check them out. Go get you something.
Hey, he got some fly hats, man. If y'all like them bucket hats and stuff, man, I just think I got to get with him and get me one of them. Um, he got some nice stuff, man. So yeah, y'all check out Trophy Chasers. Los J, a good dude, man. He out there in Texas doing his thing. All right, what's up, Joey Jackson? What's happening? Everybody checking in.
But yeah, I guess I'll move on to the next topic at hand. A lot of people kind of saying what I've been feeling about JSU. I think I mentioned it before. Potentially great hire uh, with the new quote unquote tight ends coach he brought in. Uh, yeah, Los J, I appreciate that. Uh, but my question to you earlier was, is that the only, do we not have black coaches that are capable of doing what they're bringing in? And not to say that he's wrong for bringing him in, but just do we not have enough qualified black coaches for to coach at JSU?
I mean, if you're looking for a guy that if what you're saying is a power five type of guy that does what he does. Oh hell yeah, there's tons of them that can position coaches and stuff like that would be willing to do what he do. But I think Coach Brewster he was the FSU guy for a little while, so that might have been what kind of swayed it. But I think he's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a recruiter. I don't know how motivated he is because he's older now. But like you said, I think it's a few guys who probably could have did what he does if that's what looking for a guy who coming down from FBS to Jackson State. I'm quite sure. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I guess it's more or less I'm thinking along the lines, and my butt is not on the line like a Coach Prime or anybody else. So they're gonna hire who they feel like is best for them. But I'm thinking along the lines of right now he's so hot. Coach Prime and Jackson State, everything is so hot. Why not employ, some good black talent that's gonna get them in the spotlight and boost them, either back up to where they were or boost them to places they've never been before.
Oh yeah, I mean I agree with you on that. It's one of those things where if you can find a guy, a young, I'm just gonna throw out a name. I mean, I'm not saying he is looking for a job, but a guy like David Johnson at FSU, he's a running back coach, receiver coach. He coached in Mississippi, coached at Tennessee. He's a guy that recruits his butt off. If that's the kind of guy you were looking for, I mean, I'm not saying you get a guy like from there, but a guy similar to that. He from New Orleans. He ingrained in the South, and I probably would be looking for opportunity if one had came available. There's tons of guys like that can do what Coach Brewster does. That I mean, that's you can easily find one if that's what you're looking for.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. I ain't knocking them for it. I just had that question, like, man, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
Congratulations to him.
like I said, it's a good hire. I mean, he's a guy, like I say, he's been around a long time. Um, I don't know, how much pull he still has out there. I mean, I'm sure he got a lot still, but a few years ago he was hot on the recruiting trail. He's a guy that, like I said, if he's motivated, he's gonna add to what JSU doing because JSU recruiting as a name alone.
Yeah. Well, I see Alcorn just got a kid out of the portal from FAMU. I really
Yeah,
like that kid, man.
offensive line they need it. They
Yeah.
need line help, man. They could stay with quarterback and replacing Charles Pringle and guys at receiver, but you need that offensive line. That line was not as good as they normally are last year, and it reflected in the offense. So if they can boost that up, then that's definitely going to help them.
Yeah. I seen some more people get some people out of the portal
Yeah,
here recently.
Alabama A&M picked up a tight end, I think, from Indiana yesterday out of the portal. He's a
I
grad
think
transfer guy.
Lima, D
Yeah,
Lima.
so
Yeah.
they trying to make some moves. Um, a couple names that entered the portal. Two guys from Bowie State, two big time defensive backs just entered the portal like yesterday. So I would definitely keep my eyes on them. There's been quite a few guys leaving from Bowie State since Coach Wilson left from there. So it's if you can get those kind of guys, they definitely going to help your program.
Just like Southern got the receiver from Rice.
Yeah, that kid, man, is an athlete. I think I heard a 43-inch vert. Six
Ooh.
two, 6'2", 185, I believe. He had a pretty good season at Rice last year. So I mean, I know Rice ain't the best, but he has some pretty solid numbers, and he's a Louisiana guy from Opelousas. So he knows Southern, he knows plenty of people there. So I think that they need size at receiver. They definitely need some size and speed and
They're gonna
hands.
get him.
That I was at the store today and a dude asked me that. I was like, man, I don't even know. This is gonna be a battle, man. I I don't know. it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see though. I'm gonna pull up my seat for this quarterback battle.
Well, speaking of TSU, we know they solid there, but did they get it many people out of the portal or many high school kids? Like, as it seemed like they was kind of quiet.
They quiet, man, but I've heard some things. I heard they got some receivers that's coming in that's got some good speed. They got some couple big guys on the offensive line coming in out of the portal, and they addressing the defense too. So I'm hearing some good things from TSU, man. Multiple people have told me that they got some things and they moving pretty quietly. Coach McKinney, that team is still young, so
Yeah.
anything they add is only gonna make them better. So they shaping up to be a dangerous team if they can gel.
What about that kid from Grambling? What you think about him? Well, he not from Grambling. That just committed to Grambling, Mr. Alabama. He had
Oh yeah,
early signing in Utah.
I heard I heard he's a big time player, but just had to keep you know they receivers are guys you can always plug and play with those kind of guys. So if he got the speed, then he gonna definitely gonna fit into their offense because they need weapons. Grambling needs weapons on all levels of their offense. So I'm excited to see him play. I've heard some good things about him.
They say he's just undersized, really
Yeah,
undersized.
that's pretty much the thing.
They supposed to did they receiver play or come in the spring? The one from Cal Poly.
I I don't think I think he coming in now. I don't think he was there in the
Oh,
spring.
okay, so we got a lot at Grambling. That's one school that just right now for me is just up in the air. I don't really know what to expect. I can't judge them strictly off of the spring game because I mean they don't have all these people. And you got people that's in left. You know what I'm saying? So you really don't know what they're gonna look like. To be honest, do you feel like you are you confident in Hugh Jackson's ability to put together a better product than what you seen last year?
Uh, 100% because what they had on the field last year was not. I mean, minus the last game of the season where they like miraculously put it all together. But that offense was horrible last year. So anything they do is gonna be better.
Body and Sanders gonna carry the SWAC. I mean, from what I know right now, I gotta say yeah. I haven't seen the kid that came from Auburn to go to Bama State. Don't know if he gonna start or not, but he's supposed to be. What's up, Thrillo? He's supposed to be the real deal. So I mean, we may be able to throw his name in there, but as of right now, I think Body and Sanders probably the two best quarterbacks in the SWAC, without a doubt, right now.
Yeah, I mean this is probably one of the few years where there's so many questions at quarterback. So, though, I mean, even in a year where a lot of guys would be returning, they would probably both be the top guys. They definitely are setting the pace. But I would look out for Jalen Jones at Bethune Cookman. I mean, I'm not saying he on that level because he's not the passer that they are, but a guy that's gonna generate some yardage and points in the offense. I think he's gonna be a factor at least being considered. But those are the guys that easily carrying the quarterback position in, in the league easily.
Yeah, I feel that. I think if Jalen Jones has progressed any, one thing, no doubt. One thing I will say is that the maturity, hopefully, that he's developed, through all of his stops and stuff like that from the quarterback position would make him a viable candidate to kind of, like you said, be in the ballpark of those guys because he's older now. He's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? He's played a lot of football, so he should be more mature with his decision making, better, at passing and everything else too by now.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be the key with him is how can he handle running an offense again. He do have a hell of a hell of,
Yeah,
I can't even get it out. He do got a hell of a tight end slash receiver in Averett. So and they got some. They brought in some backs to help out. So I mean, the offense can only get better. If they have a consistent guy, um, they should be better.
yeah. They got some weapons. They had some weapons last year. They had some speed at running back. I mean, watching that A&M game, you remember them playing against Alabama A&M in the rain. That was a game, but them boys was running at Bethune Cookman. So I think if they got any of them guys back, I think they'd be fine.
Yeah, that team. They struggled defensively a lot last year, and offensively they got off to a lot of slow starts. But they still were able to score, late in games. Now I don't know, you might say those garbage touchdowns, but they did have a couple games. They were tight with Prairie View for a while. They beat Alcorn, like you said, they was close with Alabama A&M. They, first half they was close with Fam before they started, getting woe down. But they can be a dangerous team if they can put a few things together.
Right. I mean, we have to look at teams for what they are. Records don't speak for everything, but when you watching the game, you know talent when you see talent, and they got some talented guys. So I respect them.
Yeah, I think they just, they went through a transition. Teams do that sometimes. They you don't realize they they may be rebuilding, or they don't even realize it. They don't. They also was coming off of not playing in the spring or the year
Yeah.
before. So there's a lot of things that need to be taken into account.
I seen someone asking about Alcorn quarterback situation, but I mean I don't know who gonna take over the helm there.
Yeah,
But
that's that job I think is open. That's another one of the quarterback battles. I think, and I honestly think pretty much everybody in the West except for TSU got a quarterback battle. So, I even heard, you know, a lot of people wouldn't have with Skylar Perry. So, it's gonna be an interesting off season, man. I think everybody's job is on the line.
I mean, but who is everybody? When you talking about Skylar Perry, like we don't have that Southern fan base that's gonna put that pressure. I
I,
mean,
I,
you.
I just mean, from what I read, I don't mean
Yeah.
like not a,
Okay. I
not
thought you
not like
meant.
not like buzz around the
Yeah.
world, but I'm just saying like some of the talk from what I read, like coaches in the spring and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, not the street committee like we got. You know what I mean? That's a different thing.
But yeah, I hope that he's able to. If that's the best we got, I hope he's able to return back to at least the spring season form and be consistent.
So let me ask you this: do you think the spring season was like a fluke?
I can't call nothing a fluke that was real life. You know what I'm saying? I just think that I don't know. Honestly, they of course they didn't play that many games, and I think that losing the pieces that they lost really hurt. We lost Steele on defense, the safety to South Alabama. You lost Harry Ballard, the receiver. You lost one more guy, the secondary too. But you lost a few pieces that were kind of, I guess, ahead of the curve compared to the rest of your team that kind of kept things together. So uh, to answer your question, I don't think it was a fluke. I just think that they were just better during that time.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like you say, they got hit hard in the portal, and
Yeah,
when you do that, it's hard. If you're not a team that churns talent, it's hard. It's hard to lose guys, and everybody think they can lose somebody and somebody else gonna step in, but it don't always work that way. And
mm-mm.
I really think that Alcorn game killed them last year. I think that game. I'm not saying that they won that game, that they would have won the division or nothing like that, but I think that game really wrecked that team mentally for a long time. I think they just never really got it going because the mistakes and stuff started piling up, and it just got ugly from then.
Like Los J say, they lost everybody, and to me, what I get from that is, like you said, since we not a school that just gets talent, we not Alabama, so we ain't two or three deep in every position. You know what I'm saying? You lucky to get a Harry Ballard. We're gonna have one of them. We ain't gonna have three. We're gonna have one. And we lose him, you got dudes that pretty much would be walk ons a lot of other places. So that hurts when we lose, top guys.
Yeah, depth is the key. Like
Yeah.
if almost any team one versus one, you okay. But when you start to go deeper into the bench, that's quality depth, not just
Yeah,
numbers.
not just them. Yeah.
Not just numbers. Quality depth. That's one of the things I wish a lot of people would understand is there's a big difference between depth and quality depth because everybody got numbers. Nobody's
Yeah.
running out there. Nobody running out there like high school with 35 dudes on their team. Everybody got numbers, but can you count on them dudes to make the plays when you need them? That's the key.
Yeah, that's big. What do you think about FAMU this year? I mean, Willie Simmons been kind of quiet too.
yeah, they and they've been adding some pieces quietly in the portal. I think they're gonna be still pretty good. I mean, they returned almost all their receivers. They did lose Bishop Barnett, but they got a couple good backs coming in.
Oh yeah.
Um, Obviously, a lot of people not sold on the quarterback. So I know they were saying, they brought in a kid from Vanderbilt to kind of spice up the competition, but I personally didn't think Rashawn McKay was that bad. I mean, he not a game changer, but he's not gonna lose games for you. And with the defense they had last year, I thought that was adequate. But if you want to really take that next step, then yeah, you need a guy that's gonna really put the points on the board.
I know a female that graduated from there and she currently worked there. She do not like the starting quarterback. She said that's they would have beat Jackson State if it wasn't for him. She said she was just going in. But yeah, some people don't like him, man. I feel like if they got better, they need to play better. But if he the best they got, they ain't in the worst situation. But let me ask you this: what do you think their chances of beating Jackson State this year with the new additions they have, with the new additions JSU have? Who you got winning that game?
I mean,
To
I'm gonna go with JSU mainly because I don't like that North Carolina game before that. That game, can I don't really subscribe to you get hurt more against FBS teams, but I think a game like that, if they get out of hand, it can ruin your morale early in the season, especially with a big game looming. But I just think JSU got. I think they just got the better team right now. They got their quarterback. They set on. They got receivers. They done brought in some backs. The line's supposed to be better defensively. They don't even have to be as good as they were last year. But I think they can be solid. So I think they just have more pieces, and I think they're ready.
I can't disagree. Um, I mean, I'm rooting for Coach Simmons, but if I had to put money on it, I got to still go with JSU at this current time till I see different.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Oh,
Oh, wow, jeez, the
woo,
disrespect.
I wasn't going that. I was thinking like a touchdown, maybe 10 points. But because I think FAMU still is solid on defense. Now they did take some losses in the secondary, so but I think they got I think they still a competitive team. I don't think they that bad. I mean, JSU didn't really march through everybody like a lot of people thought they were last year.
Yeah.
But I just think I think they are just. I think they're the better team right now. But like you said, anything can happen between now and then. So, you know, we'll just start with that.
One last thing about them, I'm thinking that some teams are gonna get better to where JSU can't afford to do that slow start stuff. Like Bama State had them. A lot of teams, TSU was balling early against them, but seems like they get stronger late in the game. So if you get a chance to get them down early, I think you got to go ahead and beat them then.
Oh yeah, I mean, I Southern had them dead to
Southern had
rights.
them.
Southern had them dead to rights. 5 minutes left in the game. Southern had them down, held them to one touchdown. They made some big plays late, but you can't. Teams are getting better, so you can't really do that. I think the offense is gonna have to take another step because I think the defense may not be as good as they were last year. Um, it's gonna be interesting. Like you say, I don't think they can afford. I don't think they can afford that slow first half and finish strong because somebody gonna get you. Everybody's not gonna blow a lead in the second half. Somebody gonna keep their foot on the gas. And then you see what they're made of. And Valley was
Yeah,
Valley
Valley
was
played them.
Valley was
Yeah.
with them too. So they had some tough games. Some games that if you look at the box score, they may not have looked close, but if you watch them, they were close. It's just the fact that their defense was able to mask a lot of mistakes that the offense made. So I just don't see them being that great defensively this year. But we'll see.
You got Valley winning any more games this year than they won last year?
I think they got the potential. I mean, because they got of course, go Jags all the time. But I think they got the potential, but their schedule never does them any favors. Last year they had a lot of games at home, a lot of tougher games at home, all those games on the road this year. So Valley has to be able to win games on the road against quality opponents to take that next step. But they're not gonna be a pushover for nobody. I think they got the potential to win some games, but I just don't know how they're gonna play on the road.
Okay. Be on the lookout for the Jags. Got a big time. Uh oh. Don't make C Wells happy.
Yeah, I know, man. Don't get me started. Um, I'm trying to stay level. But anytime something comes through, I always hit my family group text with the news. So I see.
Two more questions. TSU, how many games you got them winning this year? Do you have them competing for the West, or do you have them just better, but not necessarily top two?
I think they have the potential to compete for the West, and I say it all the time, and I say it to anybody that I talk to. That defense has to take another step. If that defense can hold people down to like 24 points, I think they can do it. But they have to get stops on defense. They have to beat Prairie View out the gate. That's number one. I know my TSU people say that they gonna beat the brakes off of PV, but
Yeah.
you have to do it. You gotta do it. And then you gotta beat Southern. You win them two games, then the door is wide open for the division. If you split them two games, depending on how you play, then you still got a shot. But those first two games are crucial for them. If they can find a way to win them both, then I would say they're in at least a front runner early.
You think that Connerly kid is going to be PV's quarterback?
From the spring, I think so. I mean, he did start some in their spring season, and he had some mop up time the year before. But I just I don't really think he's a great quarterback. So
You're not
um,
sold on?
I'm not sold on him. But they got some weapons, a receiver and a great running back in Jaden Stewart, a great young running back. So, if they can find somebody that can, at least keep the ship rolling,
Who?
TSU.
Wow.
I, there's some confidence coming out of Houston about that North Texas game. Now, don't they feeling real strong this year. We shall see.
Oh, yeah.
We shall see.
We have me, but we have another. Just haven't announced yet big time. We're going to see what Dooley got going on. Dooley with the Thule.
Hey, like they say, Coach Drip, man, he knows what's at stake here. So, that's one of the reasons why I was, cool with the hire, because he knows what people expect at Southern. So he hit the ground running. He's been aggressive in the portal. He's been aggressive with JUCOs and getting guys to come in and change rooms around. So we'll see. Like I said, September 17th, man, gonna be a day of reckoning for both teams. TSU Southern, Arlington, Texas. I'm selling the hell out of that game, man.
Let's see. What about Connell Maynard? I mean, I was hoping for big things out of Coach Maynard this past season.
Yeah. He put himself in a tough spot. I
Yeah.
mean, he set his expectations. He set them for the expectations of other people. He set them really high. Coming off of that spring, and some of the things he said. I mean, he's a guy that's going to talk his noise. So I don't really put too much into that, but a lot of people did. Um, the defense just was not good last year. They have to be better this year. Losing a kill glass, they have to be better, because somebody's gonna take over this offense, and it's not gonna be as explosive, especially out of the gate. So their defense gotta be better. They went hard in the portal. I think like almost 30 guys out of the portal this year. So they gonna have to take their step somewhere defensively. They got to step up.
Do you think that's a dark horse?
I right now I say they almost in danger of being like a lower level team in the division if they struggle out of the gate. I just don't know if they got it, if they're gonna have it in them defensively to get themselves over the hump.
Magic City Classic. Who winning it this year?
I think Bama State finally gonna get it, man. I mean,
Oh,
at some point, your pride has to take over, man. It's a rivalry game. Some kind of way you got to find a way to get it done, man. New coach, new attitude. You don't want to start off 0-1 in that game, so you got to find a way to get it done. So I'm putting all the pressure on them to get it done. I'm not accepting nothing less.
well, hopefully they do. Hopefully they win something. We may get bonuses or something. So I'm rooting for
Hey, for that, I'm rooting for him for you too, man. Tell
them.
him make
Appreciate
some
that.
bread. Hey, losing 4 in a row, 2 in 1 year. I'm sure it's gonna be some kind of celebration if they,
Oh man.
Um,
Oh.
hey they win against us one time in I don't know how long, and now he want to make it like they always gonna beat
Yeah,
us, man.
like
I, I'm happy. I'm happy that it's actually a competitive game, man. I did not go to this game the first 3 years because it was it was Texas Southern, but now I got a reason to go. So yes, I'm gonna sell the hell out of it, man, and I'm gonna be there to see the Jags get back on track.
they going at it in the comments.
Oh yeah, I like that. Y'all getting it in. But
Yeah.
just to switch gears a little bit, we still
Go
gonna
ahead.
stay on football, but I don't know if you saw they had an interview with Coach Wilson at Morgan State now,
Yeah, I
and he
saw
was
that.
saying about the playoffs and all of that. Um, I know we beat that horse a lot, but what you think about his comments?
You already know what I think. I mean, he entitled to his opinion, but I just feel like we still, which maybe I'm not a coach, so maybe maybe I don't. Well, I know I'm not a coach, but maybe I don't understand. But it still feel like we searching for that approval. But I feel like if that's what you want to go play for, go coach at a school that you can do that. You already know what you're getting into when you come to HBCU at this level, at the FCS level.
Yeah, I mean going to a MEAC team or a SWAC team as a head coach, you like you said, you already know what you're getting yourself into. So it's not like they just decided on the celebration bowl when he
Yeah.
after he signed his contract. You already knew this. So I think I think it's gonna be. I think he just needs to kind of understand where he at. And I get that like you said, you're a competitor and this and that, but it almost seemed like he angling to get Morgan State somewhere else. You
Yeah,
know what
that's
I'm
what
saying?
he's trying to do. He's trying to get them moved to another conference.
So I don't. The MEAC so shaky right now, man. But I just, like I said, he entitled to his opinion, but I didn't think that, I mean, they asked the question, he answered it, but I didn't really think that, it was a comment needed to really be stated because, like I said, you know where you signed it, you know what you signed up for. Now in the future,
Yeah,
who knows? But I mean, nothing's gonna change right now, so you might as well focus on getting a winning season at Morgan State. And I'm not coming down on him because he's a great coach, but Morgan State ain't won jack since
yeah,
the '80s. So focus on getting them up to par and then worry about the
and you can
celebration bowl.
start. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it's almost like you coming in. To me, it's almost like he down talking the celebration bowl, even though that wasn't his intent. I don't believe. It's almost like he's saying, "Oh, that's nothing." But any other team that goes and plays in bowl games, that's all they had to play for. It's only two teams that are gonna go to the national championship game. So I mean, it's still an accomplishment to go to your bowl game and win it.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you haven't been nowhere in
Yeah,
ages. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that conversation comes in after your team has been a factor in your league for a while. and maybe you like, we need another challenge. But it's just one of the things where I just think, he kind of put his foot in it inadvertently.
Open up a can of worm,
Oh yeah,
kind of
because
like Tuskegee coach did about
yeah,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, and now he retiring after the end of the season.
But he gonna be the AD, so I guess he gonna say, "Well, shit, I'm gonna schedule it, but I'm gonna let somebody else get toe up."
Hey, that's pretty smart. That talk it, schedule it, and then get out the way, so you ain't got to deal with it.
Yeah,
Let somebody else deal with it. I
yeah,
like that. That's a good move, man. That's low. Hey, low key, that's a good move. I like that.
he said,
Let that be your problem, and then when me and you sit down to talk about your season, I can fuss at you for the performance you put on. I like that. I like that. But we got some action. Los J trying to take on everybody today. It's
yeah.
Los J against everybody in the comments, boy. Hey, I hope y'all know what y'all getting into, because that dude can go, man. He can go. So did you see the XFL showcase coming up?
I've been seeing stuff here and there about it. A lot of SWAC players. I remember seeing Dwayne Johnson at JSU for something like that. You
Yeah, and
remember?
I was trying to look over the names, and I think I saw Felix Harper supposed to be there. Shannon Patrick supposed to be there. Former UAPB and BCU
Yeah,
quarterback.
I like
Um,
Shannon Patrick. Yeah.
Jeremy Hickbottom supposed to be there as well. So there's a few SWAC names popping up right now. I think it's a good look.
What you think about D Anderson supposed to be signing with the USFL?
I like that, man. I like that, and I've been watching a few of them USFL games, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been pretty good. So it
Yeah.
like I said multiple times, man. The more opportunities that you have, the better. So your career don't end just because you didn't make the NFL at this point.
Yeah.
You can keep your skills sharp, man. I like it. So hopefully, a few more guys can get in that spot as well and take advantage of that.
When does the CFL season start?
I want to say the summer. 'Cause I think they usually play in the summertime.
So yeah, they start June 9th.
Oh, they right around the corner.
So I'm looking for Warren Newman, man. We got to
Oh yeah,
support Warren Newman. So we at Montreal.
yeah. Montreal Alouettes.
They play the first game Thursday, June 9th, 8 p.m.
Everybody, we watching Canadian football, y'all. We're going straight from the show to to the CFL game.
Yeah, we got to support the dude, man.
I like Warren Newman, man.
Yeah,
That dude been a solid contributor at JSU for a
for
long
years.
time, man.
Yeah, for years. I wish he could have went to Southern or somehow. He's a New
Yeah,
Orleans.
New Orleans boy.
Yeah.
Actually had a punt return for a touchdown against Southern in Baton Rouge in 2018. That was the only touchdown they scored that night, though.
Y'all let him get out.
He snuck out, but a lot of guys from New Orleans make their way to Jackson. It's not that far away, so it's tough.
Santee Marshall.
Yeah,
Marshall from too. Yeah.
it's tough to kind of keep everybody around, but you
Yeah.
gotta do it. You gotta put a fence around New Orleans as best you can, because a lot of talent in that city, man. A lot of talent.
Real quick, I had never heard of what's it called? Louisiana Christian? LCU? Yeah, you
Oh
heard of it?
no, I heard Louisiana College, but I never heard.
What's that? It might be the same. I think it's Louisiana Christian though.
It might be something that then popped up. I want to say.
Uh, yeah, it's Louisiana Christian. They in Pineville. That's near Alexandria somewhere, or Natchitoches area.
Oh, they must have changed the name, because that was Louisiana College. But they must have changed. They must have either that's a new school or they changed it. 'Cause I
It's been
remember, I
there
think,
since 1906. The
yeah,
Baptist. Yeah.
they used to be Louisiana College, but I guess they changed the name. They've had a solid football program for a few years.
Yeah, that's a kid out of Baton Rouge. I met his mother when I was down there, but he just signed to go play there. So they ain't HBCU related, but I had never heard of that school before.
Yeah, they kind of low key. They played Alcorn a couple years ago.
Oh,
Um,
for real?
Yeah, I want to say 2018, 2019.
Alcorn should
Both
have
of
put something
Alcorn.
on them, didn't
Oh,
they?
they put it on them. They put it on
Yeah.
them. They definitely they definitely gave them some work. I mean, that's what you got to do, man. When you play them kind of teams, you got to give them the business, man.
Yeah.
So
Let's see. What's wrong with our own national? I missed that comment.
oh yeah, let's hit this.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, I guess they kind of trying to use the Celebration Bowl as that. Now, I think it would have to be something. It had to be how we have to schedule something like that, you know. And would you include the MEAC in that? Just, I mean, if you do that, it's almost like the Celebration Bowl. Now, if you wanted something like just the top two teams out of the SWAC and MEAC play, like no matter which conference they're out of, just the top two teams, period. You know.
Yeah, and I actually was, kind of batting that around in my head this morning. Um, I really don't see, like you said, until you get like a certain criteria who makes the game, not just, like a team that got hot and won their conference and didn't have the best record. I don't think that team doesn't necessarily be national champs because they won that game. But I think until we get something concrete, then I think it's just a game. So I wouldn't have any problem with actually having a set national championship game. That's no questions asked. Winner take all.
Mr. Reeves chiming in. He always come through with the knowledge.
Oh yeah, I always know when I see his name pop up, man. He gonna drop a jewel because he definitely got the info. And I was talking to a couple of people on Twitter yesterday, because they had that, I don't know, for the last week or whatever. Everybody arguing playoffs and all of this, and I'm like, you know, you can get both. It's not impossible. You have to win out of conference to get both, but it's not impossible. Some people
Yeah.
just act like it can't be done. It can be done. Do away, maybe you do away with the championship game, send your best team to the Celebration Bowl or the playoffs or whatever, send the second place team to the other one. We did it for years in the '90s, so it can be done.
I'll say this. Uh, I agree with that comment. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, I'm a fan of what's currently going on, but to your point, if they want that whole playoff thing so bad, show me all these non-conference games on your schedule, win all of them.
That's that's
If you can't win them, then what do you want to go to playoffs for?
that
It don't make sense.
that is the point, man. You have to win these games because you can get these games in the regular season. Now you might have to do a home. If you do a home and home, you might have to go to them first, and you can't get caught up in them not bringing nobody with them. That's just gonna be what it is. You have to take care of business on the field. You have to schedule. If that's what you're looking for, you have to schedule and win games. That point blank and period. If that's what you're looking for, you have to win games that you schedule. You just can't put them on the schedule and get beat by everybody. McNeese is 12-0 against the SWAC. People worrying about North Dakota State, but we need to beat McNeese first,
Right.
and that goes for my school as well.
Yeah,
Somebody
any
needs to
school.
beat them.
Yeah, like Morgan State. If he talking about he want to win the national championship and can't beat, VCU or Villanova over there, anybody,
Yeah, it's like I saw some people saying about North Carolina A&T. It's like they finished third place in the Big South last year. That conference was not great, and now they go into the Colonial in a couple of years. That's a football conference. So if you can't win the Big South, you're not gonna win that league. So are you just glad to beat us so you can say you down? Or are you there to actually win? What I mean? That's two different things.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm a fan of the current system. Uh, of course, they don't want you in their playoffs. You think they're gonna try to let Especially Dion. You know them folks mad at him.
Oh yeah, they about to
You gonna let you think they're gonna let him win anything?
they about to do like I mean, if you look back like this comment said, man, they Grambling that year he talking about Grambling should never went on the road in the first place. Jackson State, they had some great teams in the '90s. They should have never been on the road in those games. But you're sending teams to get beat. Like I remember the first year Nickel State made the playoffs in like '93, I think, or '94. They sent them to Montana, and they were defeated before they even got on the plane to go to Missoula. Coach was talking about how many heaters and stuff they was gonna bring. They was already beat, and then they got up there and the weather was nice, but they were intimidated. They gonna send you on the road. That's just the way it goes.
Hey, you think we can get some of our big money people to be the sponsor for that HBCU playoff? Because I'm sure if we went to the NCAA, it's gonna take some money and sponsorship, to get behind it. That's the only way they're gonna feel like it's valuable to them.
Yeah, you got to come with the money, and you got to have it. You got to have something detailed. I mean, now is the time, man. Everybody talking, everybody saying this and that. You need to put your money where your mouth is. Now, this is a different time than it was even a year or two ago.
Yeah.
This is not, oh, I wish, we could do this. We got the opportunity to do some things. So the people who can make it happen, they need to make it happen because I really think that we're not there yet, but we're on the cusp of some great things. But it's gonna take everybody doing what they need to do to get it there.
I mean, that's tough because I mean you do get some money from the NCAA. We break away from them. Who's going to be your governing body, and where your income going to come from?
Yeah, because you break away from the NCAA, you got to remember you breaking away from from in everything. So like you said, there's a lot. Basketball, money come from that. Even baseball with the tournament. So if unless we can get funds to do what we need consistently, then you kind of gotta go along to get along with them. But I I don't really. I'm so over the playoff talk, and I know I'm doing it now, but
Yeah.
it's just it is what it is. But at the same time, there's mad teams leaving FCS to go to FBS. So what does that say about the system? If your best teams are leaving to go and possibly make a bowl game, I mean, something is not adding up. Maybe you can tell me better because it's not adding up at all. Man, Joey Jackson, man, you be coming with it, man.
Yeah.
I hey, he say a lot of how I feel. Oh yeah, they definitely going. They definitely going Southland or like you said, they going probably Missouri, they gonna send them somewhere in Missouri Valley. You can count on that. That's how that's how I found out what Western Illinois was when I was little. I didn't even know there was a school till they played Jackson State in the playoffs one year. Like they're gonna find somewhere to put you to get you out of the way.
I'm with them two comments uh, about appreciating what we have. Like that to me, that's a fact because if we keep going the direction we going in, you got coaches talking like that. Um, and a lot of people don't like when I say this, but Dion, if he had the choice, I think he would lead a SWAC at some point. But we have all of this stuff going on. All these schools already leaving, you know, black college conferences. HBCUs as we know it is going to change. It's still going to be an HBCU, but it's going to be different eventually. And so I think we better cherish these moments and enjoy what we have because these are the things that drew us to it. You know, besides your folks or whatever, but that the culture is what keeps us there at this point. But when they get to moving conferences and all that, the games lose a little bit of flavor. So I'm with
Yeah,
them. I want to enjoy it.
let's be real. The MEAC is on its last legs unless they find some kind of way to make something happen. This league is gonna be gone in a couple years because everybody's looking for the door. So if that happens, then you're losing one of two FCS HBCU conferences. That's gonna change a lot. It's not gonna kill a SWAC or nothing like I talked about. Somebody said before, but it's gonna hurt a lot. So you need to appreciate what you got while it's here, because it's gonna be gone at some point, and you're gonna be looking back saying you wish. But I always feel like there's no, you can want one thing and not have to tear down something else for it. You can want the playoffs, but you ain't got to disrespect the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah,
That's where my beef always come in. And you can want one and not want the other, but you ain't got to tear down the other one. Just don't worry about that one.
I agree with that too. I mean, I look at the Celebration Bowl as the Black College National Championship myself, but some people try to down talk it, and I do believe Dion. I'm trying not to say it like that, but he's saying exactly what I'm getting at. Like, why you can't get, you know, why you got to go get them? Because it looks more acceptable when you're trying to go other places.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't want
you
all
got.
black Dallas Carter team that's coming through. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's always the next move. Like I always like to say at work, we work for the next job, not this one.
Yeah,
So you doing this stuff for a future. You getting that inroads, you getting your coaching tree set up, you getting that branches all out there. You looking for the future. I mean, yes, you're gonna do what you gotta do while you're here, and you want to be there. But eventually, an opportunity gonna come that you can't say no to. So why not get yourself ready now? So you ain't got, and one of his quotes, you ain't gotta, you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready, so you just see what happens.
it is a blessing and a curse.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and you got to be able to appreciate, the good that comes, but you got to understand that there's a lot of other stuff that come with it too, and it's been a learning experience I know for me for sure it's been a learning experience dealing with this because you got more people paying attention, even if they just paying attention to what he doing. You got more people paying attention to the league by virtue of him being around than ever before. So you want exposure, you got to take it all.
Let me ask you this question. We can not make it the Dion show, but you rather have Dion stay at JSU because he's supposed to be so committed and move them to another conference, but he stays. He don't up and leave, or you rather him take another job and leave JSU where they at?
Well, I mean, I I rather the schools stay where they at because they're a vital part of this league in the history. Um, I don't think him, moving them away does us any good. What I mean? If you want to look at it like we need to, like I say all the time, we need to benefit from what he's doing. So I I rather they stay, and if he leave the program
Yeah,
in good hands with somebody else, then
yeah.
I rather him stay. I don't want them to go, to backslide. Um, I'm not looking for that no more. But if the program stay rising, and maybe he leave it to one of his assistant coaches,
Yeah,
maybe Coach Harrell take over.
yeah.
I think the team will still be on the rise. So yeah, I rather him leave and the school stay.
So you saying you rather him take Jackson State out of the SWAC?
Who, me?
No, I was reading a comment.
Oh,
He said leave the SWAC.
I mean, I legitimately think he committed. I mean, I talked to a lot of people about that. I think he realizes, and he said this from Jump Street that you got to be all in it if you're doing it. So, I mean, naturally, if you're gonna do something, you need to get the most out of it. So, if something else was to come, then that would be it. But I think, I think he's definitely dedicated to what he's doing. So, like I said, I welcome it. I've come to the point now where as long as nothing is negative, then I'm good with it.
I mean, I respect Mr. Reeves, opinion on that. I mean, everybody, we can look at it how we want the Celebration Bowl, but I'm going to always support it and try to hype it up and do everything I can because right now that's all we do have. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to hold on to it. I mean, we went through this with the Heritage Bowl. We had it, we took it for granted, it left, and then we had to go multiple years before we got something else. So you need to appreciate what you got. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Danzig came back to JSU if
yeah,
Coach
I
Prime
think
left.
I think that would be a viable candidate, especially if he keeps Valley on the rise. I think he'll go back home for sure.
Oh yeah, but I will say if he keep Valley on the rise, then he gonna his number he gonna have to block a lot of phone numbers because people gonna be calling for show. Because if he have success at Valley, you can have success anywhere. So I really he making a name for himself, and it's gonna be tough to turn down some of them phone calls.
Honestly, if I had the money, I'd be calling them in Pine Bluff right now.
Yeah, man, that's a guy like that. He is what you need, man. I always say you need a salesman, and low key, he's a good salesman, man. He very visible. I see him all the time on different little shows they have, or just doing different things and helping promote the university and the program. You know, you have to be a salesman, and I think he got a personality that's good enough for that. But at the same time, he's a football coach that's a hard nosed guy. His team gonna be scrappy on both sides of the ball, and they're gonna play to win regardless of what happens. Well, I mean that's always been my thing. I mean somebody's gonna have to. You know, it's gonna be an ego check for a lot of guys, man. Because there's only so many spots to play. Eventually, maybe somebody gonna get unhappy. But if they keep winning, things are gonna be cool because winning is a great deodorant. You're willing to put up with a lot when you win. So I think as long as they churning out guys and guys are being successful after JSU, then I think it's gonna keep on going.
So the comment about the Celebration Bowl and the Battle of the Bands should be the same day. Do you think you got time and energy for that? Like the Battle of the Bands gonna be, that ain't no just 30-minute thing. Then you
Yeah,
got people that's gonna sit around at the game for however many hours. I mean, I look at that like they do the Value Classic. Battle of the Bands the night before, Greek show, all of that, and then the game the next day. Because it's probably so many festivities the day of. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you got a better idea of
well, I
how.
mean, typically when you have a big game like that, you gonna have some kind of fan fest during the daytime. You definitely gonna want to tailgate. I mean, I don't know. I never been to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, so I don't know. How they if they let you tailgate there or not, but you're gonna want to tailgate. So that needs to be taken into account. And like you said, that's you're looking at a 8 hour day just being in the arena. You know what I'm saying? And somebody like me, if the football game first, I'm ghost out of the game. I ain't even gonna lie to you. If the game is second, I'm coming. I'm coming for the kickoff. So I like it. Do it the day before. You can probably get more people. And you can get the biggest crowd for both if you do it.
I Yeah, I mean, we went through this. I think this past season. So Mr. Reeves seemed like he might be the most knowledgeable on this, but who is a black black championship team crowned by? Like, what source are we allowing to say, okay, whoever they said is true?
Well, I know that for years it was the different polls. They would
Yeah.
vote you after the season. So, and I think that's kind of still what they're doing. I know when the Celebration Bowl first started, and you had your North Carolina A&Ts and Grambling and North Carolina Central Alcorn, those games were championship games because those were your two best teams. But yeah, Honorton, they got a poll. They usually vote for the champion. So if you're voting for it, then what happens in that game is really irrelevant. I mean, JSU lost that game, and a lot of people still felt like they were the champs because they had the better record at the end. Everything. Some people felt like FAMU was the best, but they lost to JSU. South Carolina State tried to make a claim, but they was not a great team all season. So, you know, it's one of those things. You need something concrete if you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have a situation like this. You got three teams claiming it. You know,
I don't think personally, and this is my lousy opinion, but I don't think a vote is good enough for me. South Carolina State might not have had a great record or none of that, but they had the record to get to that game in their league. So that's all they can control is win the amount of games that'll get them to there. And so to me, the game is played in between the lines. The game ain't played because I like JSU or because you like FAMU and you think they had this or that. I mean, I go by the game that was played on the field. That's just me, my lousy opinion, and I can't go with nothing else.
uh, man, I remember seeing the actual Sheridan poll in the newspapers. Um, I know a lot of y'all don't know what a newspaper is no more, but I mean, that was if you're gonna do polls, you're always gonna have somebody who feels like somebody else should make it unless there's a team that's hands down better. But if you're playing that game on the field, then whoever wins that game, regardless that if that's what you're gonna declare, then the team that wins that game is the champ. Whatever you want to say about it, other than that. So I think they need to decide, whether this game is going to be the championship. And if you 6-5, 5-6, and you won your conference and you win this game, then you just got to deal with that team being the champ. Otherwise, you got to deal with what we're going through now.
Man, who gonna come out and say that? Like, who is gonna be the person that's you know that can say that and everybody agree with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, so how do you even get to that point?
I think somebody. I think it takes enough. It's going to take enough teams that don't get it, that want it, get their feelings hurt, and then they'll. I mean, if you look at back in the BCS era when Auburn got left out of the championship game, it was undefeated in 2004, I think it was. That's when SEC started to push for some change. So somebody who got something at stake that doesn't get it is gonna be the one that have to make that push.
But I mean, like, is it gonna take the um commissioners from both conferences to say come together and say, hey, this is how we're gonna crown them? Or I'm saying, who is going to decide that? Can C. Wells just come out and say, okay, this is how we going to decide it? Like, who decides this?
Hey, I like that. Hey, let me say it. But no, I think like you said, I think it's gonna have to come from the top. The guys start with the commissioners. Them and the organizers of the game or whatever. They need to be very clear and concise in what they're doing. So if this is your championship game, regardless of who makes it, this is your championship. It's like a conference championship. If you win enough games to make it and you win, you're the conference champ, no matter what your record
No
is.
matter
So
what, yeah, people always going to have something to say.
yeah, so I mean, if you qualify and you make it, then if you win, then you're the champ. And I think if that's the route you want to go, then you have to be you have to understand that there's gonna be years that you get a team who may not have a great record, but are a good team. Teams have different records for various reasons. They don't have a lot of teams in their conference. They only play what, 5 conference games, 6, I think. So they had 5 non-conference games. They lost those, but they went undefeated in conference. What more can you ask from a team than to win all the games that they need to win?
And then the kicker is this: you everybody talk about their record and everybody talk about JSU record, but they come in and hand them a nice little L. So if if you beat the best,
Then you
supposedly the
should be the
best,
best.
then yeah, you should. I mean, I understand it's one game, but still, that we all knew this was one game coming into it. You know what I'm saying? So if you beat them, then everybody else should just shut up.
Yeah, I mean, sports has always been one game.
Yeah,
The U.S. hockey team, they beat Russia back in the day. It was one game. If they had to play them 4 times, they probably lose all 4. Um, North Carolina State beating Houston in the NCAA championship. One game. It's just, all you need to do is be better that one night. And if the championship is at stake, then that's the rules that we set. And I think you need to stick with it. I just think in 2022 and beyond, polls should not decide championships no more. I think that's just an old system that needs to go.
yeah. I don't know, but I think it's about that time, man. I'm actually hungry today. I didn't eat before the show, so
Yeah, me either. I can smell some dinner through the dough.
D2 school. See, that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different variables to try to decide that. So I feel like if you Division 2 and y'all play in the playoffs, that's who decides your national champion. If you FCS and you SWAC or MEAC, we got one celebration bowl. It's supposed to be the best from there and the best from there. I mean, it's just
Hey, I know we're trying to get out of here, but that actually raises a good question for me. Let's say let's say Bowie State won the national championship. The, would that influence people to make them the Black College national champion?
uh I think it's hard to say a black college national champion anyway, because you know you got the NAIA, you got CIAA, SIAC, SWAC, and MEAC. I mean, you can't. I don't know. You about to make my head hurt.
I think you got to be real careful with taking the playoffs into account to all of this because you know, like I said, I don't want to go too deep into it because we trying to get up out of here. But if FAMU found a way to win a national championship, do they overstep the Celebration Bowl winner
Celebration
because they
Bowl.
won the FCS championship, or is that separate? I mean, I know we're getting into a lot of lot
Yeah,
of
rabbit holes.
lot of stuff, so
Yeah.
I ain't gonna go too deep into it. That's just a little food for thought for y'all out there. But it's like I said, it's gonna take somebody up. The commissioner's got to be the one to make that statement, man, and put this to rest one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question you posed. I mean, I guess you can say they are. I don't know. I'm gonna just end with this. I would say they would be the national champions, the FCS national champions. But if it were me, I would still crown the Celebration Bowl the black, because I guess the national champions would be overall. I guess, and
Yeah,
then
I mean, like
like a conference championship and a national championship.
yeah,
Two different
I
things.
mean, it's so many ways, and like I said, I ain't even sit down and thought about it. So I'll probably think on it. But it, this is one of them conversations that is never gonna end. So unfortunately, we got to end it today. But if you do content, this is gold, man. You can do 90 shows off of this. I mean, I don't want to because I get tired of talking about it. but it's always gonna be a conversation that sparks. So until something changes, we're gonna be having this conversation multiple years. Um, I want to thank Lawrence Reeves for bringing back a bad memory of that North Carolina Central game in '06. Um, we were a very bad team that year, but they were a very good team. They came to Baton Rouge and handled up on us in the worst way. So I don't have anything else. One thing before we get out of here. Finals, who y'all got? Anybody want to chime in real quick?
I'm going to go to State.
I'm going Boston, man. I never thought I'd say that, but I like Tatum, man. I think he gonna get it done. I think the
Well,
defense is gonna be the key.
well
Oh no,
good luck.
I'm just hoping for a good series, honestly. But hey, ain't no hard, ain't no big deal, Lawrence, man. I'm just one of them people that gripe on old games, so don't pay me no mind on that kind of stuff. Golden State got them. Hey, I mean, I wouldn't be upset if either team win. Warriors in six. I'm hoping it's a 7-game series. Whoever win, I'm hoping it's a 7-game series. I wish they played the games earlier though, because I don't like staying up late, man. Y'all done heard me say that multiple times. So, with that being said, man, hopefully there's some more crazy stuff that take place between this time and next week. We can have some more things to talk about. So hopefully somebody do something stupid.
No,
Hope
man.
not stupid illegally, but say
Yeah.
something crazy. Hopefully Tuskegee AD/coach say something else. I like talking about him. So y'all get Coach Ruffin to make another comment. I want to talk about it again.
I feel that last comment. I feel like they be dragging some of this stuff out, man. But I don't
Oh,
want to get into that conversation either.
they drug out the Dallas. I mean, it went 5, but they made them win game 4. Cause and I'm gonna leave it alone after this. But Steve Kerr has said Otto Porter was gonna come back for game 5 before game 4. I'm like, what coach says that? Why would you say he gonna be back for game 5 when you on the verge of a
Yeah.
He said that before the game, not after the game. So that made me think, okay, this is y'all not even worried about this game. So
Yeah.
no, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day and a whole nother show because we don't do this not an NBA show, this is a SWAC show. So with that being said, man, we're gonna go ahead and get on up out of here. Hopefully y'all enjoy y'all weekend and hopefully we have some more stuff to talk about next week. Of course we're gonna find something to talk about because that's what we do. But as usual, I'm Steve Wells and this is DJ. We're gonna sign up out of here, man. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate y'all.
All right.